But I like to estimate forage with a bigger frame than what he's clipping. I just try to do it with a 3x3 foot frame. And just looking at this frame, the way you throw it down, it looks like everything out here is solid grass, even in a year like we've had. But as we look at this frame, probably only 50% of that frame is upright growing grass. And if you look out across a landscape, it looks totally different than looking down on top of what's already there. So that's the first thing I try to get people to do if they're out, maybe even without a frame, just driving around looking in the pasture. Try to get out and walk and look down. Get on your horse and ride. Stop him and look down. It's amazing the differences you'll see, and you have to do this multiple times to account for variability. So that frame right there, I would estimate 50% cover, maybe 1,000 pounds per acre, and I could be off. If we threw the same frame right there, now we're probably 70% cover, and I'm going to estimate maybe 1,800 pounds per acre, which is pretty good for the Davis Mountains of Texas. But again, the thing you have to remember is we're on probably one of the most productive range sites on this whole ranch. It's flat, there's soil, and grass can grow. If we look up on the mountain directly behind us, we are in the two extremes that I can think of, maybe in the Davis Mountains or maybe even other places in the world, where we have pretty much 100% usable forage here. It's flat. Cattle do not like to graze much over about an 11% slope. So even if you've got soil and no rocks, they really just don't like to climb. But everything out here is flat and it's open. And the other thing you have to learn to estimate on grazable acreage is brush cover. Because brush cover can take 50%, 80%, in worst case scenarios, 30% of what's actually there. If it's covered with brush, cattle either won't use it or it won't grow forage. The rule of thumb on calculating usable acreage according to brush is if you don't like to walk through it, cattle probably don't like to walk through it. So as we look back here, we have got a little bit of mesquite and things, but it's certainly not to the point where it's probably going to inhibit grazing or inhibit forage production at all. So right here, we call pasture often has different range sites in it. And this one might. Yes, it does. There's no fence between here and that mountain over there.